I remember a few years back when I was getting started as a teacher and was getting paid in cash by the lesson, which, by the way, isn't something I recommend these days. But that said, a parent would hand over some cash at the end of the lesson, and I remember literally being surprised a couple of times and going, "Oh yeah, this is my job. That's right. I'm getting paid to do this," because I was having so much fun. How lucky are we that we can do that? Now, of course, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. We know that. We all have challenges with students quitting or challenging parents or just burning out ourselves or just getting tired of teaching sometimes.
Hey there, it's Tim, and I just wanted to let you know that if you're teaching guitar or want to break into offering guitar lessons to expand your business, you are going to want to check out our brand new show, the TopMusic Guitar Podcast with Michael Gumley. It's airing on Friday on all podcast platforms as a weekly show. You'll get insider advice on how the best guitar studios get built and how to teach guitar lessons that students will keep coming back for. Don't miss it. Come and check it out now.
Welcome back to the Topcast, everyone. It's Tim Topham here, and I'm super happy to be hanging out with you again for another episode this week. Always an absolute pleasure to bring these episodes to you, and I hope you've been enjoying the show so far in 2022. I can't believe it's April now. Crazy. A quarter of the year already gone. Amazing, isn't it? So in today's episode, we're talking about who you are, why you might be here, why you're probably different, and why a top music teacher is different from a traditional teacher, and why we think that matters. It's going to be a great fun show. We're introducing some new ideas here that we haven't explained in detail to you guys before, so I hope you come along for the ride. Before we get into today's episode, I did want to mention a couple of things. Firstly, while you're looking out for other YouTube channels, then do check out our Top Music Co. YouTube channel. It's over at youtube.com/topmusicco, all one word. We do weekly videos of teaching tips, playing ideas. We do product reviews. I review hybrid and digital pianos. I've got a new Arius from Yamaha coming up really soon. You can get to see videos of me teaching. I've been doing some online lessons for some of my members' students. It's been so much fun. So go and check it out and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out when we release new videos. And finally, we also wanted to mention the Beginner Improv Power Pack. Now, if you are just getting started with improvising with your students, our Beginner Piano Improv Power Pack. If you would love to explore some more improvising with your students, then we've got you covered with this power pack. We've got black and white note improvs, teaching tips, accompaniment parts, fully orchestrated backing parts, and you can use these one-on-one or in group lessons or in online lessons. It's super cool. Comes with full instructions and lesson plans for you to enjoy some simple but fun improv activities, which can work for students really at any level or ability, but particularly with your beginner students in those first few lessons. If you enjoy using your method book but want to just throw in a few fun improv activities, then this is a great resource for you. It's just $9.99, and you can download it over at topmusic.co/powerpack. All right, let's get on with the show. So if you're listening to this podcast, at some stage in the past, you've probably accepted a calling to be a music teacher. Maybe that was your friend asking you to teach their child, or your own children asking for you to teach your grandchild. Or maybe you were known in your area as the piano teacher or the gigging musician or someone that got up on stage or that played pianos or whatever, and you were only too happy to open your doors to all the local kids. Or maybe you just felt one day that teaching is what you were being called to do. However you came to teaching, we all know that it's as much a calling as anything else. And, no doubt you're in this to serve other people and ultimately to make the world a better place. And in the process, having an impact on children, students, and the families with whom you're working. And in fact, if you're like a lot of teachers, you probably believe so much in your mission that you would probably do it for zero pay if you're able to survive. I remember a few years back when I was getting started as a teacher and was getting paid in cash by the lesson, which, by the way, isn't something I recommend these days. But that said, a parent would hand over some cash at the end of the lesson, and I remember literally being surprised a couple of times and going, "Oh yeah, this is my job. That's right. I'm getting paid to do this," because I was having so much fun. How lucky are we that we can do that? Now, of course, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. We know that. We all have challenges with students quitting or challenging parents or just burning out ourselves or just getting tired of teaching sometimes. Perhaps somewhere along the line, you realized that the way you were taught maybe wasn't cutting it for your students anymore. Or you might have realized that students seemed to be quitting when that had never been a problem before. Or maybe you were a bit bored with your teaching and just looking for fresh ideas, or wanted to reinvent or redefine yourself as a different kind of teacher. Or maybe you were stumped by kids who just wanted to learn things on YouTube or by trying to teach the latest pop song, but you're not too sure what to do. Or maybe you just needed to improve your marketing and fill your studio back up. And then one day you might have done some Googling or YouTube search for new ideas and solutions to what you were seeing happening in your studio. And you perhaps found some TopMusic resources. You tried them out and found they resonated with students, and so you decided to dig a little deeper into our TopMusic world here. You tried out more ideas and gained confidence in the process, and you realized that what you were already doing was great, or that you could see potential in upping your game and trying some new things. You watched videos of teachers teaching and wanted to aspire to their approach. And then you met some other creative music teaching pioneers, teachers like Forrest Kinney and Bradley Sowash, Lila Viss and others, and you realised that there was so much more to learn, explore and enjoy about your studio and the teaching that you were doing. And I'm curious, for each of you, when was it in your life and your teaching that you were sitting there and you just realised you maybe were a little bit different from other teachers? Do you remember that first time you were sitting there and you're like, I reckon I'm different. I think differently than the other people sitting around me at this conference or in this school. Do you remember that moment? Maybe you'd already been trying some new things out in your studio, or maybe you'd been improvising and getting off the page already, but needed validation that what you were doing was okay, even though you were bucking all the trends of traditional teaching. However you came to be part of this tribe and think differently, and whether you even feel like you're part of a creative teaching movement or not, no problem. At TopMusic, we welcome you with open arms. And I think most of you know my own journey to a more creative approach to music teaching. Like many of you, I expect I started teaching how I was taught. I even used John Thompson's books with some of my first students. Shock horror. Side note, there are many better method books than John Thompson's around these days. And at some stage I was like, I want to learn something else. This just isn't resonating. I don't really like it. I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. It doesn't sit well with me. Kids don't seem to like it. It's not really that much fun. Why don't I teach kids the things that I enjoyed exploring outside of my lessons when I was a kid? And why don't I go back to some of the things that my teacher did with me? So I tried things out. I read more books and I went to lectures and masterclasses and I watched trainings on YouTube, and I'm like, what if I put this together with this and add a bit of this and sprinkle some of this on? Let me try that. And I spent a couple of years just trying and testing all these ideas out on my students. They were all guinea pigs, but they quite enjoyed it at the same time. But what I did is I saw that my students' enjoyment grew. They became better, well-rounded musicians with a deeper understanding of music. And my business also grew because I was able to start differentiating myself. And I was able to start differentiating myself. And I was thinking, this is the most exciting thing in the world. It's like a treasure hunt every single day. And I got into reading and studying and learning and going to events because I was looking for every one of these little gold nuggets that I could get and apply to what I was doing to help what I was doing grow and then share these ideas with other teachers. It was super fun and exhilarating. It was also kind of exhausting too. But, when you get to that stage where you're just super passionate about something and you just want to do it all the time and learn as much as you can and read all the books about it, that's what I was doing. I built this library of book after book from, what Chopin taught his teachers and letters from Franz Liszt and biographies of Menahem Pressler and all of these kinds of things. And I was able to pull them all together into what we've created at TopMusic. All right, so how does all this relate to answering our question today? What is a TopMusic teacher? Well, in order to understand this question, I think it's important to understand the TopMusic mission. And some of you may not have heard this, so let me go over it. It's super simple and very easy to remember. Our mission is to broaden the creative, teaching, and business skills of music teachers so that you guys in turn can give the next generations of musicians the best chance of enjoying music all their life. That's what we're passionate about. We believe in an integrated approach to music teaching as well, which encompasses all the things that students need to be well-rounded and holistic musicians with an ability to create and perform and accompany and play music in just about any setting. We're also passionate about giving things away, just like this podcast. I've done over 270 of these, mainly hour-long sessions, and we've given them all away. And that actually doesn't count all the preparation and publishing time involved, which is probably at least another couple of hours per episode. So we're looking at 500 hours of time that we happily have given over the course of the publication of this podcast since 2015. And we've written and shared over 500 blog articles. I've got over 200 YouTube videos. I've created keynotes and conference presentations and given away literally tens of thousands of freebies like lesson plans, chord charts, teaching ideas, technical guides, transcripts, and so forth. Sorry, I don't mean I have tens of thousands of these things. We have given them away to tens of thousands of teachers. And we're all about giving, and that's a core part of what we continue to do today. We give to our community to hopefully make everything better. And we also don't like forcing anyone who follows what we do or listens to the podcast. We don't like forcing you down a particular route. We don't restrict you to a certain method or approach. We love suggesting ideas, demonstrating effective strategies, offering models, and then scaffolding approaches that you can try in your teaching. And then we enjoy walking along the path with you as you learn and grow. And sometimes we'll have an arm around you. Sometimes we'll give you a little poke in the back, keep you going, hold you accountable. That's what it means to be part of a community. So now that you know all that, where we've come from, what we're about, how do you fit in? What does it mean to be a top music teacher? Well, here's what I believe. The thing that makes you different than a typical teacher is that you are obsessed with being the best you can be, of trying different things, of constantly learning, of working out what works and what doesn't, and connecting with every student in a holistic way. But there's even more to it than that. So what we've been working on creating is the first Top Music Teacher Manifesto that we hope you'll agree aligns with what makes you part of the Top Music Teaching tribe. So without further ado, here is our new Top Music Teacher Manifesto, which you can also have a quick look at on the show notes page for this episode, because we've created a one-page version of it for you to look through. Our members can download a one-page version of this from our membership and pop it on the wall as something to share both with themselves, but also with parents and future students coming into their studio. All right, here's what we believe. Top music teachers do things differently. We no longer teach the way we were taught. We create unique learning experiences for every student. We have a student-first approach to teaching. Our approach is integrated, bringing together reading and performance with creativity, curiosity, and exploration. We believe in helping students find connections to deepen understanding. We ask more and tell less. We know the world is changing faster than ever, and we're committed to continuous learning. We don't give up on difficult students, and we open our doors to diversity. We don't teach reading in Lesson 1. Pop songs don't scare us. YouTube is our friend. Music teaching is more than a hobby. We are the CEOs of our studios. We know our business and charge what we are worth. We are open-door teachers. We thrive on brainstorming solutions and sharing our resources with other teachers. Together, we change lives and bring more music to the world. We are top music teachers. So, how do you sit with that manifesto? Does this align with your own views about what it means to be a music teacher in today's world? If so, then I really recommend you come and join your tribe inside Top Music Pro today. If you want to be surrounded by teachers with that same mission and who feel the same way about teaching, then that is your community. And remember, you can even dip your toe in the water on our $10 per month light plan, which gives you full access to our members app, including the forums for asking questions, our full webinar vault of over 60 1-hour plus trainings, our Studio Success Path course, and free monthly sheet music. So come and join your tribe and community over at topmusicpro.com. Now, if you listen to the manifesto and you're like, oh, I'm not too sure about that, or, oh, I like that, but I'm not really sure about this one, then I would also love to hear from you. Start the conversation over on any of our social media channels or over on the show notes page by leaving a comment for us over at topmusic.co/episode 273. It'd be great to hear your feedback. And for those members out there listening, I know there's lots of you. Have I missed anything? What else do you think we believe that I haven't put on our manifesto? Because we can always keep improving and refining it. Well, that's the end of the show this week. Next week on the podcast, we are chatting to the amazing Eric Branner, who's going to be challenging you to think a little differently about your business, your marketing, and even the rates that you charge. And we're also going to be discussing his studio management and billing software, which is called FONS, F-O-N-S. It's a great conversation. Eric is just a super cool human being and so giving and friendly and open. I can't wait for you to meet him if you haven't already met Eric. That's next week on the Topcast. I'm Tim Topham, and you've been listening to another episode of the Topcast podcast. I'm Tim Topham, and we look forward to speaking with you again next time. Bye-bye, everyone. For more information about this episode and to find out how to enhance your own teaching, visit topmusic.co. You'll find everything you need for your studio, from lesson plans to cheat sheets, quick win teaching ideas, and guides on how to build your teaching business. Plus, you'll be connected to a global community of the world's top music teachers. And when you're ready, join hundreds of other teachers around the world by becoming a Top Music Pro member and get access to all our bonus content and flagship courses. And don't forget to follow topmusic.co on social media and subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to it. That's all for today. We'll see you in the studio.